Are you stockpiling these? Hey everybody, it's Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. There's a lot of things to stockpile, right? Talk about a lot of different things all the time. This one is very important, especially for the longer term events, for your ability to survive long term. Seeds. Growing your own food, like you see behind me, is, to me, one of the ultimate preps because it is sustainable year after year. If you have a really good seed stockpile, maybe more important than your food storage. Because, like I've said before, the second you open your food storage, you just started the stopwatch on your life. You need to be able to replenish it. And don't just say, oh, well, I haven't lived in an apartment, or I live somewhere where I can't grow. Okay, right now you do, but you don't know where you'll end up. You don't know if you'll have to bug out, or if things go bad and you move to your uncle's farm somewhere, and maybe you can help supplement his seeds. Very important. Stockpiling seeds is one of the most important things that I feel preppers should be stockpiling now. Because we hear about, potato crops getting low. We hear about rice not being imported. We hear about droughts. We hear about floods. We hear about a lot of stuff affecting our food supply. So, you need to grow your own. If you're not currently growing, which I believe you should be, because if you're not doing it now and you've never done it, well, there's a learning curve, just like everything. You got to actually do. You got to get out there and actually do, just like I do. I currently have, I think, 24 raised beds and one, two, three, four in-ground areas that I garden, as well as fruit trees, berries, etc. I just can't say it enough, people. You got to be able to grow your own food, raise your own animals. This is not going to get any better anytime soon. Seeds are one of the ways that you can do this. You can get seeds for very inexpensive. You can get seeds out of the foods that you buy at the store, that you normally buy, you normally cook, you normally eat. A lot of them have seeds in them. Depending on what you are buying at the store, the viability of those seeds. How heavily GMO'd are they? Are they organic? Are they heirloom? It depends. Depends on where you buy your produce, how you buy your produce, and the items. Some items are heavily GMO'd. Watermelons are heavily GMO'd. Different things like that. Then there's items that are not really GMO'd at all, like butternut squash, pumpkin. This Halloween is coming up, right? So when you buy your pumpkins and you clean out all those seeds, put them on a paper plate, sit them in your house, let them dry for a couple weeks, put them in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the fridge, label them, pumpkin, and then maybe the date, or at least the year, so that you can grow pumpkins next year from that. All my pumpkins right now that I'm growing, and I'm growing a lot of pumpkins, came from seeds like that. Because pumpkins, they're so easy to grow everywhere that there's no real reason for them to GMO them. There's no real reason to try to corner the market or anything like that. Same with butternut squashes. Squashes and pumpkins, never ever buy the seeds in a seed pack at the store. You're paying a lot more money and you're not really gaining anything. You buy the pumpkin or the butternut squash or whatever it may be, acorn squash, spaghetti squash, and then you get the food that you can process up, put in your food storage by canning or dehydrating or freeze drying or whatever it may be, and you get the seeds out of it. That's very important for long term. Potatoes. We've heard about potato crop being lessened this year and years to come. How is that going to affect us? How do you store potatoes effectively? Cool, dark, dry place, and you do need to sift through them every once in a while to take out the ones that are going soft or the ones that are going bad. But you can keep potatoes to the next year. You can just rebury them and then put a bunch of extra topsoil on top of them, maybe put a tarp over it, a little bit off the ground so it can still breathe and everything, but it keeps the moisture, all the rain. It keeps it from keeping the soil wet so they don't rot. There's a lot of different, you can stow them in your crawl space, you can stow them in your pantry, whatever it may be. You just want to make sure it's cool as possible. You want it to be dark, and you don't want it to try to keep it dry. These are some things that are very important. Yeah, the ability to reproduce food year after year with animals and what you grow is very important. I really like long-term sustainability approach of fruit trees, berry bushes, and stuff like that, because it keeps the maintenance down. Yes, you have to water it. You got to maintain it a little bit. You got to weed it, stuff like that. But the items reproduce year after year without you having to plant or do anything like that. Sometimes you may need to mulch them, you may need to add some fertilizer, stuff like that, but it's pretty low maintenance. Really good way to go. We have 3 plum trees that are second year. They should produce next year. We have 2 first-year fig trees that are doing very well. We have, I think those are all the trees we have. But then we have blueberry bushes, we have raspberry bushes, we have strawberry bushes. I have huckleberry bushes that I dug up in the woods and replanted out here in the garden so they could produce more fruit, because back in the woods, a lot of times they don't produce fruit because they don't get enough sunshine. Out here, the experiment is going fairly well. Some of them died, so I'll just dig up new ones in the woods, replant them out here. I'm just trying to give them time to see if they're well established or not. That ability, you may not have the ability though, like I talked about, to have like a big garden. But you can always grow something, even if you're in an apartment, if you live in a city, no matter what, you can grow something. And kind of note, that garden registration thing, yeah, just stay away from it. I don't look at it as them trying to come take all your food and shut down all the gardens or anything like that, although that may be. I don't like the government knowing anything about me. I like them knowing as little as possible, because it's none of their business what I'm doing. It's none of their business how much food I'm growing on my property. It's none of their business how many freedom tools I have, or defensive tools. Same with freedom seeds, etc. They don't need to know. It's none of their business. I'm a completely moral, law-abiding citizen, and I just need to be left alone. But they're not leaving us alone, right? It's part of their agenda. It's part of their control. They want to control us, and they can control us via a lot of different methods. One of them is food. That's why I talk about the seeds. Another one is water. Get your water squared away. It's very important. Another one is limiting and or taking away our ability to defend ourselves. We see it limited all the time. They're always limiting it. They're always not abiding by the definition of infringed. So yeah, they are infringing, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's going to get worse and worse. It's not going to get any better. I hold no weight on any kind of elections, especially after last time. I get it, there's election fraud probably all the time, but it's just one of those things we've seen lately that it's just not, it just doesn't work anymore. This isn't going to be fixed politically. This is going to be fixed by either people standing up and having their voices heard, and or maybe a two-way range opening up where, you know, people are shooting at each other. I really hope that doesn't happen, but I see the likelihood of that as a need, or as a way that things go down, as a possibility, which is why I try to ready myself for that possibility. One of the big parts of that is fitness, but I'm not really talking about that in this video. It's about control, and we know, even if, you know, conspiracy theories, I saw this one meme. I don't really do memes. I don't do Facebook or memes and stuff like that, but I saw this one where it was, you know, let me know some new conspiracy theories because all mine have come true. Seriously, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I know they exist, and I know that a lot of them are true. I know that there's probably a grain of truth in every one of them, but yeah, it's one of those things that it just keeps, they're not even hiding a lot of the stuff anymore that they're doing. I mean, a lot of it you can read right on their websites. Go to the United Nations, look up Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, etc. I mean, you know, look at the WEF, the World Economic Forum, look at the Bilderbergers. I mean, they're not going to publish what they're talking about, but look up any of these things and see where they're headed and where they're trying to go. Trilateral Commission. It's just There's powers out there that want to control people. We just have to set ourselves up to not be controlled. We need to be outside the system as much as possible. One way we can do that is by growing our own food, raising our own animals, collecting seeds, and being ready, at least, hopefully doing it now so you get practice and you get to learn, you get that learning curve under your belt so that you're much better at gardening, much more effective at producing food for your family, for those around you, for a tribe, etc. But even if you're just collecting seeds, at least do that, because you may have the opportunity. You can just put a seed in the ground and water it, and you might have decent luck. Might. It's better to learn now, but at least have the seeds. Anyway, I hope you guys like the video. I hope you guys subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share the videos, comment below, do all the things to help with the algorithm, and go subscribe to all the Prepper channels, please. I really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.